Wynne woke up the next day with a pounding headache, her memory of the previous night hazy. She couldn't recall walking to her room, but that's where she found herself upon waking. On the table beside her bed, Raymond, bless his heart, had left a glass of water and some aspirin, with a note instructing her to take them and have a bath. After the hot bath, she left her room in a robe, meeting Raymond just as he was preparing to leave for work.
"You're up? I didn't want to disturb you in case you were still sleeping."
A sheepish smile formed on Wynne's face.
Thanks for the aspirin. Just how much did I drink last night?
Her memories after she came home were non-existent.
"When I came back, you were so drunk you couldn't even stand on your own. I had to carry you inside."
Wynne tapped her forehead as she struggled to recall the events of the previous night.
Oh, I don't remember anything.
Raymond's voice carried a questioning tone as he asked.
"At all?"
Yeah, the last thing I remember is getting back home. Everything after that is a blur.
She noticed that Raymond wasn't making eye contact, which raised her suspicions.
Are you sure nothing happened last night?
Raymond finally met her eyes, but stammered.
"Why? Why do you ask?"
Wynne waved her hand dismissively and said,
Oh, never mind.
she would drop the topic for now. Just then, her phone began to ring from the room.
I'll go get that.
Her head was still pounding as she answered the call.
Hello?
Hello, Miss Wynne. This is the hiring department of Leroy Company.
Wynne's eyes widened in surprise.
Yes?
We would like to congratulate you on your acceptance into the company. When can you start?
Wynne was in shock, but she still had the right mind to reply.
Tomorrow's fine.
She couldn't very well go in today hungover.
All right, all right.
The voice on the phone replied.
We'll be expecting you tomorrow. Congratulations once again.
As she hung up, Wynne let out an excited scream of joy that brought Raymond rushing to her room.
"What? What happened?"
I got the job.
She screamed again and ran into Ray's arms. He welcomed her with a hug until he remembered she was only wearing a robe, and he pushed her away with a guilty look.
"Congratulations, Wynne.
He said, giving her an awkward pat on the head.
You deserved it."
I can't believe I'm going to be working with Caspian Leroy. I'm so excited, Ray. I wish I could go in today.
She groaned, remembering her hangover.
Why did I drink so much yesterday? Oh, wait, don't you have to go to work?
"Yes, I do. But Wynne, please don't ever drink alone or in the presence of someone other than me going forward. You have a blank memory because of yesterday, and it could be dangerous if it happened with someone else. Promise me that."
Wynne rolled her eyes, but eventually promised.
I won't, okay? Now leave before you're late for work.
He gave her a small smile and left. Wynne flopped back onto her bed, excited about what tomorrow would bring. She was going to work for Caspian. Another squeal escaped her lips.
Ow, my head.
That day passed by as an excited blur. Wynne couldn't remember if she ate or what she did, just thoughts of what tomorrow would bring. The next day, Wynne woke up full of excitement. She rummaged through her closet for the perfect outfit, settling on a black suit with nude heels, but as she entered the Leroy building with confidence, her expectations were immediately shattered. Jerry, the man she had met before, was waiting for her, and he claimed she now worked for him.
I don't understand. I got a phone call yesterday saying I got the job.
Jerry nodded, his corporate smile in place. Today, he was dressed in a white suit and white shoes. The other day, he'd been dressed in a red suit. He seemed like the type that loved attention.
You got the job. You'll be working under me.
When his heart shattered into a million pieces, this was not what she had expected at all.
The ad you worked on was amazing, and the design department would like to have you on our team.
Wynne couldn't believe her luck. She had hoped to get closer to Caspian, but now she was working for Jerry instead. Right there, she made the decision to make the most of this unexpected turn of events. Sure, she missed out on the opportunity to work directly with Caspian, but she was determined to make her mark and get him to notice her. Jerry beamed at her and shook her hand.
Lovely. Now if you'll follow me.
The last time Wynne was here for the interview with Caspian, she had been directed to the 3rd floor. This time with Jerry, they went to the 2nd floor. When they got off the elevator, Jerry gave her a tour.
The planning department is over there, and the marketing department is this way. This is our stop, the design department. Trust me, all the people here are mostly friendly. You'll fit right in.
Wynne wasn't sure of that as she'd never been able to fit in, but it was a little exciting even if it wasn't what she had been expecting. She thought to herself,
You may not be Caspian's assistant, but you're one step closer to working beside him. Prove yourself here until he can't ignore you anymore. You can do this, Win.
In the room, as they entered, there were 6 other people. Jerry, with a welcoming gesture, proceeded to perform swift introductions.
Everyone, meet Win, the latest addition to our team. Win, this is Olivia, who will be your supervisor. The rest, Anna, Jean, Michel, Luc, and Edward.
He announced, associating each name with a point of his finger.
I trust you all will assist Win in getting used to our environment.
With that, he vanished into what appeared to be his office, and Win didn't see him until later in the day. Win raised her hand in a friendly wave, but to her surprise, her new coworkers walked away without acknowledging her. Slightly flustered, she turned to Olivia, who was regarding her with an unreadable expression. A sense of déjà vu crept in, and Win wondered if this would be a Tina 2.0. Olivia, pointing a perfectly manicured finger towards an unoccupied desk, said simply,
"Take a seat there."
"All right." Win could hear the warning bells going off in her head, but whatever. If Olivia wanted her to just sit there, she would sit there perfectly. A while later, when Win made her way to the restroom, she overheard a conversation about herself.
"What's the deal with the new girl?"
She's just a pretty face. Why did Jerry hire her?
"I know, right? Maybe she slept with him. I didn't think he was into women."
They both laughed like it was the funniest thing. Win couldn't differentiate their voices yet. They'd communicated with her with gestures so far. She thought about walking in, but not wanting to make it more awkward, she went back to her seat. 2 people walked out of the restroom a few seconds later, and Win was able to identify them as Michelle, with the red hair, and Jean, who wore her curly hair in 2 buns. For the sake of peace, she was going to pretend like she hadn't heard them. Later, when Jerry came out of his office, he approached Win.
Please take this to the CEO and get him to sign it. His office is on the 3rd floor, the only one there.
"Jerry, why are you sending the newbie? I can do it."
It's fine, Olivia. Let Winner do it.
As Win stood from her seat, she didn't miss the glare Olivia sent her way. This really was Tina 2.0.
Okay, Jerry.
When she got out of the elevator, she greeted the secretary and told her what she was there for. The secretary called Caspian and told him someone from the design department was there to see him.
Going in.
This is even more nerve-wracking than last time.
Win thought to herself as she mustered the courage to push the CEO's office door open. Gathering her thoughts, she began.
Jerry asked me to.
Caspian cut her off abruptly, his tone cold.
Up, why are you here?
Stammering, Win tried to explain.
Jerry sent me?
Annoyed, he waved his hand around.
No, why are you here? In this building? I told you that you didn't get the job.
Flustered, Win tried to mention that Jerry had hired her, but Caspian's curt response threw her off.
Get out.
Feeling utterly disheartened by the exchange, Win left Caspian's office and conveyed Caspian's message to Jerry upon her return to the office.
He wants you in his office,
she informed Jerry before retreating to her desk. As she sat down, she couldn't help but question why she was even there. Her coworkers didn't like her. Her supervisor didn't like her either. As the weight of the situation settled in, Win wanted to call it a day. No had become Olivia's favorite word to use when addressing Win, closely followed by, "You can't do it, can you?" Many times, Win had been on the verge of picking up her things and walking out, but the reality was she needed a job to afford a roof over her head. Even though Raymond was nice about it, she didn't want to prey on his kindness. On the bright side, she had become friends with one of her coworkers, Anna, who often helped Win whenever she was facing challenges. Olivia's words had brought Win back to the present. It was a daily occurrence for Olivia to criticize something Win did, and this was the 5th reprimand of the day.
"Winnie, can't you do something right for once? You can't do it, can you?"
Olivia's voice echoed with frustration. Win had learned not to respond when Olivia launched into one of her tirades. In the beginning, she had tried to defend herself, but it had never ended well for her. Now she knew to remain quiet until Olivia was satisfied. After Olivia returned to her own work, Anna approached Win at her desk with a reassuring smile.
"Remember, don't let it get to you. We all faced the same challenges when we first arrived."
She didn't have any experience in diamond design, but she was willing to learn. Her love for diamonds was the second reason she stayed. Plus, seeing the work her coworkers did inspired her to work harder.
"We're leaving."
Hearing Anna's voice, Wynne glanced up to find her standing with Luke, who she had learned was Anna's boyfriend. She had been so immersed in her work that she hadn't realized time had passed. The office was empty except for the three of them.
You were so engrossed in that.
Anna remarked with a warm smile.
You're doing great, all right?
Anna was a petite woman, and Luke had a big stature, so they made for a pretty unique couple.
Thanks, Anna. Bye, Luke.
Wynne bid farewell to the couple, acknowledging Luke, who rarely talked with anyone other than Anna.
Get home safely.
You should leave soon.
Sure, I just have a little to finish up.
Rising from her desk, where she had spent hours working, Wynne stretched and made her way to the vending machine to grab a cup of coffee. She didn't want to leave work without completing her current tasks.
It's almost 10 p.m.
Winnow noted as she glanced at her wristwatch. Just a few more minutes and she would call it a day. Standing at the vending machine with her back turned to the entrance, she picked up the hot cup of coffee. Then, unexpectedly, a voice called out,
Jerry.
The cup of coffee slipped from Wynne's, and she jumped away just in time to avoid being scalded.
Shit! That was close.
A concerned voice reached her ears.
Are you okay? Did that get your leg?
Recognizing the voice, Wynne turned around with a nervous squeak.
Sir.
He inquired, pointing at the coffee spill. Caspian raised an eyebrow, his attention now on the mess on the floor.
No, it's fine, sir.
Wynne assured him before hastily making her way to the supply room to fetch a mop. When she returned, Caspian was casually looking around the office.
Do you need something, sir?
Caspian's gaze shifted to her.
Has Jerry gone home?
Uncertain, Wynne knocked on Jerry's office door.
I think so, sir.
Caspian made to leave, but Wynne stopped him with a question.
Did you need something, sir?
He initially responded with a no, and proceeded to walk away, but he slipped, and the papers in his hand scattered to the ground. Wynne rushed to his side.
Are you okay, sir?
Caspian waved off her concern.
Fine.
As Wynne bent down to help him gather the scattered papers, she couldn't help but notice the contents.
For the Valentine's Day promo, you're only targeting couples.
Caspian snatched the papers from her hand, appearing uninterested.
Nice, why?
Wynne hesitated briefly before explaining.
Couples aren't the only ones who celebrate Valentine's Day. Singles, divorced individuals, widows, and other groups also celebrate it.
Caspian raised an eyebrow.
And?
Well, how about not restricting it to couples, but being more inclusive of those other groups? It'll have a significant impact on sales.
Caspian had to admit that it was a solid suggestion.
Thank you. That's a pretty good idea. I didn't think of that. I'll make sure to pass it on to the team.
He watched as her eyes widened in disbelief.
You're actually going with that?
Why not?
Caspian replied. He would have to bring it up with the planning department and marketing department, but it sounded like a solid plan. Wynne stammered slightly, clearly taken aback.
Well...
Would you like to join the production department?
She could be a valuable addition to the team. Her eyes widened even further if that was possible.
Wow. Thank you, sir, but this department is kind of growing on me. I've loved diamonds since I was a little girl, but it's my first time being involved in designing one, so it's both frightening and interesting. If you don't mind, I would love to stay here.
Caspian gave a brisk nod. He appreciated her approach to work.
Good. It's late. You should leave.
He said simply, and with that, he left.